The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, so I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
It's the Go Gopher podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 51. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and we're in New York City with a special Pinstripe Bowl edition of the podcast. The Gophers arrived here in the Big Apple on Christmas Day. They've been practicing, working out, and taking in the sights and sounds of the city ever since. The Pinstripe Bowl is this Thursday at Yankee Stadium. The Gophers taking on the Syracuse Orange in a 1 o'clock game. Our special interview guest today is a busy man. He's wrapping up his final game as a Gopher assistant coach and about ready to take over the helm as the new head coach at Kent State on a full-time basis. Kenni Burns is the current running backs coach and associate head coach for PJ Fleck's Golden Gophers. He'll soon take over the Golden Flashes of Kent State. That's as soon as the Pinstripe Bowl is over. What are his hopes and what are his goals for the new gig? And while with the Gophers, Burns has coached a lot of good running backs, and we'll get his thoughts on the record-breaking Mohamed Ibrahim. We'll also have a flash visit from Mariano Sori-Marin, whom I caught up with walking off the practice field for the very last time as a Golden Gopher on Monday. We'll hear that quick conversation later on. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. We're also glad to have Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union with us on the Go Gopher podcast. Affinity Plus has been a long-time Golden Gopher supporter. You can find out more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Our podcast is also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland at ChamplinInsurance.com. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast. You can do so by clicking on the subscribe button. The Go Gopher podcast is free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. Last week, for example, we talked with Gopher safety Tyler Newbin. He's coming back for one more year of Gopher football next year. Go back and listen. You'll enjoy it. This week, it's episode 51 from Manhattan, a Pinstripe Bowl preview edition. Gopher running backs coach Kenni Burns and future Kent State head coach. He's got a bright future. We'll hear from him next.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Hey Gopher fans, this is your State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. We are super excited to be part of the new Mike Grimm Show on Talk North. For the year of 2022, we will be donating $10 to the University of Minnesota Children's Masonics Hospital for everyone that calls our office or checks in with us online and mentions that they heard about us on Talk North and the Mike Grimm Show. We are really excited again that Mike came on board with Talk North. You can reach us at 763-421-4900. You can find us on the web at ChamplinInsurance.com. Again, 763-421-4900, or find us on the web at ChamplinInsurance.com. Roll the boat, Sky Uma, go Gophers.
It's episode number 51, the Go Gopher podcast, and Golden Gopher running back coach Kenni Burns is with us, and some exciting news certainly in his life going on right now as he's serving double duty. First of all, thanks for coming on and sharing some of your thoughts with us.
No, thank you for having me. This is, like you said, an exciting time for me and my family as we balance both jobs right now, but just glad Coach Fleck gave me the opportunity to be here and coach through the bowl game.
Yeah, so just so we set the stage, Kenni Burns has been named the new head coach at Kent State in the MAC, and he has some MAC experience, of course, with PJ, in fact, for a year at Western Michigan, and we'll talk about that. And as he's getting ready for that and assembling a staff and finishing up his first signing day and all those things, he is also staying with this team through the bowl game, the Gophers, to finish out. Talk me through how that decision came about.
Yeah, after the announcement that Kent State was going to make me their head coach, me and Coach Fleck just kind of talked about the transition, and he asked what I needed to make sure Kent State was in good form, and then what he needed here, and it worked itself out where for both teams it was probably beneficial that I stay here and coach for the bowl game. It gives him time now to find the next coach, and then allows me to really have one more opportunity with my guys and Mo and watch him do what he does one more time. So it just worked itself out, and he's been great through the transition and helped me kind of balance both and get my roster right at Kent State and assemble staff and do all the things that they need as well, not missing too much here.
Yeah, it's probably all going like 1,000 miles an hour right now for sure. Take me through the interview process, how that went when you started to get the idea like, hey, I've got a shot here to become a head coach.
Yeah, at Kent State, Sean left to go to Colorado, and then the next day, the search firm gave me a call, and they were interested, and they wanted to gauge my interest, and I told them obviously I had tons of interest. I knew the AD previously through some things we had done outside of coaching with the NCAA and leadership, so there was a relationship already there. I knew a lot of people who had been there before, both player and coach, who spoke highly of it and the trajectory it was going on. So then I just dug into it. I had my agent dig into it and tell me exactly what it's about, exactly what they're looking for, exactly what they need. And then when you got to the nitty-gritty of it, it kind of worked for me and it fit me. And then we met and had a good conversation with their committee, and they called back and had another good conversation. And then at the last call, they kind of said, you're our guy if you want it. And then it worked itself out. So.
Wow, that's so cool. How thrilling is that? You're 39 years old, a relatively young head coach. You've worked your way up through, and here you got a shot now.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. There's tons of coaches who want this opportunity, and it's not easy. There were 17 other jobs I didn't get, that I was in on as well. And you finally find one where the timing works and the people work, and you jump on it, and that's what I did. When I saw the door was open, there was opportunity. I had been in the Mid-America Conference. I'd had success there. I recruited the landscape where they wanted to recruit. I've been a part of rebuilds at North Dakota State, Wyoming, and really Minnesota too. We know how Coach did it from the ground up, so I've seen it and how it works, and that's what they were looking for. And for me, it was perfect.
From the standpoint of where you're at now, what is as you're juggling both these things? What with Kent State are you doing right now? I assume getting your coaching staff assembled and getting a roster assembled.
Right after the announcement, I came back here for a day, and then I went out there for the press conference, and then I stayed out there for about 5 days. Mm-hmm. And that was something that Coach Fleck really pushed me to do because it gave me a chance to meet with the right people, your compliance, your admissions, the current roster, and get a kind of pulse on where the school is, where the football program is. So I did that, and I was out there and really not sleeping very much and doing that. Then while I was there also, I was building the staff. And, a lot of times in the interview process, you have your staff already assembled. So you're really talking about contracts now and where guys fit and piecing everything in together. And it worked itself out. And then I got back here and got back to work. And then my mind kind of shifted, But the AD there who ran Dale Richmond, he told me, he said, when you leave here, be where your feet are. Your feet are in Minnesota. Be there and enjoy this. You've earned the right to enjoy this experience. And, we'll come back here. We'll pick up where we left off. So I've kind of done that here. I've kind of got my staff, they got tasks and things they're doing to make sure we're ready to go when I get back. But I've been here and present and trying to enjoy my family as they're going to stay back until July, until my daughter's done with school. So just enjoying every minute of this, and that's the best advice I got.
Yeah, and certainly I want to ask you about the bowl game and about Mohamed, of course, here coming up. But take me through your vision as a head coach. What are your goals and hopes now with Kent State as you move forward?
Yeah, the one thing I want to do is I want to take it to a place it's never been, and I want to win win a MAC championship, and I want to take it to a level that it's a national brand, and that's kind of what I sold them. And I've got this thing called Kick Grit, and I'm sure you've seen it online a little bit, and it's really about growing, responding to whatever you get when you're growing, and then doing it with integrity, and then locking arms and doing it together. And that's my foundation. A lot of that mindset comes from my time with PJ and what he's taught me over the years in our culture here, and then a little bit of my own spin to it and twist, as with other experience that I've had over my coaching career. So the biggest thing for that team, I told them academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually, we just want to change our best, which I know you've heard that before.
I've heard that a few times, yeah.
So that's what I truly believe it, and I understand it, and I know how to make it work in the landscape of college football, and I think the kids are going to enjoy their experience and maximize their potential.
So there'll be a little Minnesota flavor in terms of what PJ has done with the Gophers with Kent State now.
Yeah, there'll be a Minnesota flavor. There'll be a little bit of Craig Bull and North Dakota State in there
and
too.
Wyoming, right? Yeah.
And Dale Lennon and Southern, and then Kenni Burns. Kind of putting it all together. And that's the great thing about an assistant coach who never had aspirations to be a coordinator, always wanted to be a head coach. What you do is you really focus in on the things that the head coach is doing that are working, that aren't working, and kind of put your own twist to it. Now you've got your opportunity to put all those ideas together and then make it your own. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
When you now are into taking over as the head coach, and you mentioned, you pull a little from everybody and then have to form your own identity. What will your identity be, do you think, as a program?
Yeah, it's really going back to that grit idea, and that's what I want out of them. That whole idea of growing, responding with integrity and together. And I think that's going to be who we are. And what I've learned over my career with even my own position group is that when you stick to your core values of that, typically you've got a pretty good football player. When you make a really good person, it typically leads to a pretty exceptional football player. And I've had that success with Rodney Smith, with Mohamed, making them better people has led to them, in my opinion, being really good football players. So that's going to be the core value system that we're going to have. And then from a structure standpoint, we're going to play what we call flash fast on offense, have a good tempo when we go and score points, and then suffocate on defense. And that's going to be our identity from a football standpoint.
What did you learn your year in the MAC that you can implement to now as a head coach in that conference?
You can outwork your opponent. And what I mean by that is sometimes in the Big Ten you're looking at rosters where there's just more advantages, in my opinion, and you're looking at resources where there's just naturally more advantages that it's hard to catch up a little bit. At the MAC, there's so much parity. Any school can win the MAC. You look at it every year. There's kind of a different school in the MAC championship.
Yeah.
So I really believe you can outwork your opponent in recruiting and X's and O's and how you work in the weight room, and really that's what we're going to do in my opinion. And we're going to outwork our opponent, and that's what I learned with PJ. We weren't the most talented roster when he first got to Western Michigan, but by year 4, he had built it into a really, really strong roster that won 2 bowl game or 2 BCS games against Illinois and Northwestern, and then really gave Wisconsin a run for its money in the Cotton Bowl. And I've seen how he's done it. He's recruited really hard, and then he's made his team tougher than everybody else in the league. So.
Yeah, for sure. And as you get through that, then you're familiar with the geography, and there's a lot of good football players proximity-wise in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're going to own Ohio. That's what I've told our staff. So every coaching member on my staff will have a piece of Ohio. We're going to touch it in every way. And there's so many good football players there. When I was at Western Michigan, I recruited Columbus, and I got to go to Cleveland a little bit too. And the amount of talent that's in that state is really unbelievable. Yeah. And it reminds me a lot of Michigan when I was at Western Michigan. There was a lot of talent in Detroit and some of the surrounding areas that we did a great job of taking control of.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Congratulations on that part of it. And I know it's you're going to get hit the ground running here as soon as this game's done at Yankee Stadium this week. Let's talk about that game now a little bit. And let's start just generally as it's your final help in terms of preparation for as a Golden Gopher running backs coach and associate head coach for the Syracuse opponent. What do you know about the Orange? What can you tell Gopher fans that you guys are anticipating?
Yeah, well, they're extremely talented. When you look at their roster and you watch their defense, there's a ton of athletes just running around there, and they They do a good job schematically of trying to create confusion, with some of their blitzes and some of their stunts up front. We just got to be sound and do what we do. But when you look at the roster from the front four to the back four, they're extremely, extremely talented, and a lot of guys that we would love to have on our roster, from an athletic standpoint. So that's a big challenge that we have. And then, like I said, they do some things schematically that Coach Rock has got a good pulse on, but it takes reps, to get all their twists and their stunts and their blitzes down, and I think our guys are doing a good job with it.
You guys, too, are set so much with experience on offense. How much, too, is it just like we know what we know and try to stop us?
Yeah. It's been a part of our secret sauce is being very simple, but I still call it simple but complex. And why I call it complex is because there's so many, it looks like we're running the ball inside, but there's so many ways we can do it, and I think our guys have mastered it, and I always talk about this year and this time of year, why we've had success in bowl games is because I think our offensive players have mastered the system. And when you're mastering the system, there's nothing that really can confuse you. And I told the running backs that today, actually. I said, you should be very confident with how when you go out there and play, because you understand the looks you can get, you understand the reads off the looks, and you should play confident and fast. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I was out watching practice today out at Fordham. Cool spot, the
really cool
football stadium, and then it served as the baseball stadium. It looked like as well, and the weather was pretty decent in relative terms from what we just left out in Minneapolis when it was 50 below. But what's it like today? I guess as we talk here, this is Monday. That was the last, I guess, full go padded practice for you.
Yeah.
With the likes of Mo Ibrahim and Trey Potts and Bryce Williams and Preston Jellin, and I'm forgetting guys, but at least on this current group, Zach Evans, who has a bright future, certainly. What was that like, knowing that at least in pads, obviously that would be your last chance to coach these young men?
It was kind of surreal, and I truly mean that, because whoa, how time flies. Every year I talk to the guys about, the hourglass kind of running out, and you're going to eventually run out of time. You got to cherish every moment that you get. And for me, I felt that today a little bit, that my hourglass is kind of running out. And these guys have meant such a big part of my life, and they've helped me become a better husband, father, and coach. And to see that time kind of ending is really kind of surreal for me. And I think about, when you're a head coach, you want to stay a head coach. You never really think about being an assistant again,
Right.
And there's so much intimacy in relationships when you're an assistant coach that when you're a head coach, you don't necessarily have. And that kind of hit me today as we were wrapping up the practices, that the tightness and the bonds that I have with these young men and the way I've affected their lives and they affected mine. Am I going to have that again as a head coach? You will, and you're in a different kind of way, but that's something that I'll truly miss.
I think of that group of running backs, too, and what you, in terms of those intimate relationships, have dealt with in terms of Mohamed coming back from the injury. Preston Jellin had a season-ending injury also last year, and dealing with that. And Bryce Williams just kind of been that steady guy who probably had a chance if he wanted to transfer, could have, and said, "This is what I want to be part of." I mean, it's been a pretty cool group of guys, And then you go back, as you mentioned, to Rodney and Shannon and some of those other guys too.
Yeah, I've had a really good group, and I don't think coaches go through that and experiences all the time. I've been here for 6 years, and I literally have a relationship with every single guy I've coached here, and even after they've left. And that's a special bond that I'll never forget and I'll always remember. And I literally made them take a picture, I think it was 3 days ago, that I want to put in my office just to remind me of that and how they've affected me and how I've affected them. And not just the running backs, this team, Braven Spenford, Tanner Morgan, Chris Altman-Bell. I've been around these guys for a long time. Yeah. And they've been to my house, and they participated in my running back cook-off and all kinds of things that have helped build relationships with all of them. So, yeah, it's been a unique 6 years, but I wouldn't change one thing for the world, and I love these guys.
And I don't want to just pick one guy out, but when he's about to maybe become the greatest running back in the history of the school, we kind of got to pick him out here a little bit. So let's talk about Mohamed Ibrahim. He's certainly within striking distance. If he does what he normally does, he's going to have the all-time leading record in rushing for a career, rushing for a season. He's tied currently with, he has all the rushing touchdown records for a career. He can, if he scores once, and hopefully he scores 3 or 4 times on Thursday, he'll have that record as well. What's it been like coaching Mohamed Ibrahim now for 6 years, right?
It's been probably the biggest joy in my life of coaching.
Really?
Coaching Mo, and it has, because I've got to see him his freshman year come in here, and I'll never forget it. We were playing Iowa. It was kind of his first start. and it was 2018, I believe. And he struggled in the game, and I remember standing in the locker room after the game, and he was extremely emotional, and thought he really thought he could never play here. And I think about that time to where he is now, it's unbelievable to me. And to see his transformation throughout that season, and then the following ones, in 2018 he was a Bowl MVP, and then he came back the next year and he was a number 3 really on the depth chart.
Yeah.
And the kid never complained. He never quit smiling. He never did anything that would cause harm to our football team. He just wanted to help it. And then 2020, the running back of the year, and then 2021, all of a sudden you have an injury, and kid's always been positive and always had a smile, and we love him. My family loves him, and it's been literally probably the biggest joy in my coaching career to coach a young man like that, and then to see him transform. When he came in here, he wasn't the greatest student. Now he's leaving here with the degree. He's graduating with honors. His mom is so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. And again, I got to see a young man really turn into a man in 5 or 6 years here, and gonna miss him. But like he always says, tells me all the time, I'm not going anywhere. So I'll be at Kent State to see you and to be with you, and that's just Mo for you. And I think my daughter's gonna take it the hardest leaving Mo. They're kind of BFFs, and he loves her, she loves him. He's been to her dance recitals, and they've done TikTok together. He's been over for dinner 10 times, and I think she hasn't really hit her yet. But a couple of days ago, she asked me, she goes, "Is Mo really leaving?" I said, "Well, if he doesn't leave, we're leaving." So it's been great though. But no, I love Mo and I love all those guys, and I'm going to truly miss him.
You mentioned too that first start, and then I even think the year before that he's on the scout team. He never played as a true freshman, and just fought through it to the point where he was scout team player of the year, right?
Yep.
Did you know then that he could be as special as he was? I mean, it's obviously hard to project because you want all your guys to, set all the records. But what was your thought? And in fact, you go all the way back to your time at Western Michigan is when you started creating a relationship, right, with him?
Yeah, at Western Michigan. I thought he could be a good player. I didn't know. You never know they're going to be a great one until you get them and you see how they work. Mm-hmm. And I probably knew he was going to be really, really good the bowl game at 2018 Georgia Tech. How he prepared for that game, his confidence level, he took a step that a lot of players don't take, and where he wanted to know more and more and more. And that's when I knew, okay, we have a really special player here. And then how he handled the transition of 2019 with Rodney and Shannon coming back and the teammate that he was, I said he has the intangibles to be special too. And he didn't let me down after that. He just ran with it. And I remember telling him in 2020, after the first game, I said to him, I think you can be the greatest running back to ever play here if you keep working at this level. And he goes, I'm determined to be. And I'll never forget that. And he had a look at his eye like, I really am.
So, that's awesome.
It's been great.
And you think even back to that 2019 year where, like you mentioned, he was third team, but then I think back to certain times, I mean, he really wasn't third team, right? I mean, he was as good as any of them, but through seniority and different things and all that stuff. When it did come to crunch time a few times, including that bowl game at Auburn, that last drive, that was Mo time, right? I mean, that might be one of my favorite drives of my time here and it resulted in no points. I think we got the ball on the punt with like 7:50 left, and you never gave it back. I mean, never scored either. But what a drive! And that was Mo converting. And I think there was a 3rd and 11 maybe on there that he converted, and some others. I mean,
he was my kind of go-to in those situations because he had tons of confidence and he understood the play. I thought really well, plays really well. But he was never really third team, but on paper he was.
Right.
And it was a backseat that most guys don't have to take after coming off the season he had in 2018. But no, he's had a role and a role of finishing, and it's one that I'll give Coach Fleck a lot of credit. He's always trusted Mo in those situations, and it's a lot to do with his unconquerable will and his how. He's going to be determined to get a first down, and not saying the other guys wouldn't, but he's shown consistency that he can do it, that he can put games away, and so we've trusted Mo ever since really 2018 and what he did that year.
What makes him good? Because I watch him, and he's good on inside zone, and as you mentioned, there's a bunch of offshoots of inside zone. It's easy to say, or outside zone, or whatever. But that outside zone where he just kind of goes and waits, and then all of a sudden you look, and it's like that was an 8-yard gain. How did that happen? What makes him so good?
He's got exceptional anticipation, and what I mean by that, he knows the blocking schemes in and out, and he knows where people are going. So he knows when people are going to come off a double team and snap to a backer, and that's phenomenal because now he can control his tempo on a play, when to go fast, when to slow down, and that's the art of being a great running back to me, is that understanding exactly what the scheme is. Where's my movement key? How do I see it? How do I set him up to get him to where I want him to get to? And Mo knows that, and he could talk you through. I mean, when he goes to the NFL and they sit him down in a meeting room, have him talk through a play, they're going to be wild.
Yeah,
because he sounds like a coach, and he really, I think the year off helped him with that even more. So that's where Mo's really good. You see him; he's so patient. People say, well, he's really setting up and anticipating, which is really exceptional, and it's hard to do. But what he's done is he's showed the other running backs how to do the same thing, which really makes him a special back even more so, because the success we've had in that room with Kai and Bucky, and I think Zach's going to be a heck of a player, Trey Potts, like it all starts with Mo and how he teaches them how to go about their preparation. One thing Coach always says, he says with bad teams, no one leads, average teams, players lead, or coaches lead, and elite teams, players lead. And Mo has really led that group, and I credit him to a lot of success in that room.
Yeah, he's been so good. And then I hear people talking as a running back. Daryl Thompson, my broadcast partner, I know you've gotten to know him pretty well, talks about Mo's vision, too. Vision as a running back, he must have it, huh?
He has exceptional vision. But I go back to anticipation. Like
it's all part of it.
It's all part of it to me. He can really keep his eyes on his target, and they'll still understand when people are coming off to block that target. And that, to me, is that anticipation and understanding. And some people say it's just vision, but at this level, there's more to it to me than that. There's a sense of, okay, I know where this block is going to, and how do I set it up to get there and know exactly when to snap off and make a cut.
Yeah, and then I watched that Iowa game, and that's a really good defense. And obviously that was a game, that was there to be won. But I mean, that defense statistically against the run was not just a good defense that for this season, like historically it was pretty good. Like in the last 15 years, it was one of the best defenses. Yeah. And yet Mo just cut through it. And it looked to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that he found something with that vision, that anticipation that other running backs against Iowa had not found. I mean, I don't know if it was a cutback or whatever it was, but he was clearly finding some stuff.
Yeah, he figured out their fit. He figured out exactly how they were fitting our two inside zone plays, and I knew he had it about the third drive. He came over to me and he drew it up, and he told me exactly what they're doing and how they were they were plugging and hanging a backer. And he told me, he said, if I can control this backside backer and make it look like outside zone, he's going to bite a step, and then I'm going to be able to snap off to it. And he had it dialed up. And after that, it was like stealing from a baby in his mind. He was
like 263 yards. It was incredible.
He told Coach Raka, I think at one point, keep calling it.
And he did, man. He did. It's a shame that, I mean, if justice were served, that would have been a Gopher win. But sometimes you can't win them all. But the performance that he had that day was unbelievable.
Yeah, he had one of the best performances I've seen in my career.
Yeah,
for sure.
Crazy.
It's a great defense.
Then the next week, Wisconsin, the axe is there to be had. It's a close game, and it's a 45-yard touchdown pass that ultimately wins the game in terms of the go-ahead points. And that was a wonderful play, but again, there he was, number 24, right, picking up somebody to give Ethan Calig-Manis just enough time to get that pass off to Lemeki Brockington.
Yeah. He's one of the best pass pro guys I've ever been around either, too. So he's got a good feel, and he's got a good understanding. In that game, they were determined to not let Mo beat him after what happened against Iowa, and we knew we were going to have to throw the ball to win the game, and that's where Ethan came in and had a great game. And from that game for Mo was pass pro, and he was on top of that game, which was awesome to see. So he's the ultimate team player. I truly believe that, and he makes people around him better, and that's what true leaders do, and that's what makes Mo great.
We hope he has a long, successful NFL career. When and if that's all finished, you mentioned how smart he is. Do you think he's going to be a coach?
Oh, he will definitely be a coach. There is no doubt in my mind that he will coach, and he will be exceptional at it. People follow his lead, and then he's got a great way of articulating what he's thinking, and then he knows football, and I believe you can have relationships and you have good knowledge of football, you can be a great coach, and Mo's going to be a phenomenal coach, and heck, I'll hire him one day, but I think Coach Fleck's going to beat me to that.
He's called dibs already, maybe, right? That you mentioned the year off. It was so frustrating for him, I'm sure, but you mentioned it may have helped him just in terms of observing and probably leading too, right?
Yeah. What he did that year off, I'll credit Rodney Smith to that one, because Rodney had a year off, and he came and he visited with Mo quite a bit that year, and he said to him things that he did, like how he sat in the coach's room on Monday and got an understanding of exactly how we were blocking things, how things were being articulated to the O-line, and it helped Rodney understand our offense a little bit more. And I think it made him a better player in 2019. And Mo kind of followed that same lead. He focused on how can I help, how can I teach, how can I learn. And you look at 2022, I think he was exceptional this year, and what he did and how he did it. So that's where I give him a lot of credit. A lot of guys would have soaked. A lot of guys would have said, I don't know if I can get back at this. He said, okay, what can I do to help everybody, coach? And then I kind of gave him some assignments, and he took them and ran with them. I really believe that he was Kai Thomas's personal coach.
Yeah, right.
And he met with him like nonstop, and I think that helped Mo to understand and see things just a little bit differently.
Last one for you on Mohamed. How he can play in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What will be the key for him to make it successfully there in pro football?
Yeah, he's got the best 10-yard burst I think I've ever seen, and that's what the NFL's about, and they know that, they understand that, they see it, and then his ability to break tackles. He's one of the top in the country at breaking tackles, which is really big in the NFL. Those two things alone will make his productivity really high. He's never going to hit the long one in the NFL, but not very many people are.
Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher, right? Does he still hold that record? I think
he's
he
up
does.
there. Yeah.
That to me is the comp for what Mo. I don't know if he's going to get 15,000 yards, but he never broke the long one either. But he just always had that knack of veering and not taking a hard hit and breaking tackles.
And that's what Mo does,
right?
And then you throw his anticipation and vision in there as well. He's going to be able to play the game faster than what people think. But I know a lot of NFL running back coaches who are very high on him and are really excited about him and his NFL career. He's just got to find a way to stay healthy. And I think not carrying the ball 40 times in a game will help him stay healthy.
That might help.
So
that might
I'm excited to watch him.
Well, I'm excited that we get to see him one more time.
Yeah, me too. Take it in.
Take it in. Enjoy it, Gopher fans. It's been fun. And Kenni Burns, it's been fun chatting with you. And best of luck. It's such an exciting time, and we're going to be following from Minnesota, and we've become Kent State fans for sure.
I know. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the support. Got tons of nice messages from Minnesota fans who are excited about my new journey, and I appreciate it. Our time here has been one of the best. Me and my wife, we've made a life here, and it's been awesome. We're going to miss it dearly, but we're excited too.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My thanks to Gopher running backs coach Kenni Burns, who was our guest this week on the Go Gopher podcast, episode number 51. We wish Kenni the very best when he takes over for Kent State later this week. As promised, I had a quick interview with Mariano Sori-Marin on Monday after practice, which was at the Fordham University football stadium. The senior linebacker out of the Chicagoland area joined me on a chilly day after his final fully padded practice as a Golden Gopher. Hard to believe your final game here at Yankee Stadium. What are your thoughts as you get ready for this one?
Yeah, it's been a journey, and finishing up my last practice today in pads, it's a little emotional, but you just look back and reflect on the time that you've had here with all your teammates, all your coaches, the relationships that you've built, and you just, you're appreciative, and you're grateful for getting this opportunity and being able to live it, and I'll look back on these moments, I'll cherish them for the rest of my life, and reflect on it and pull from it later down in my life.
Probably some of your best friends forever, right? Some of your teammates here?
Oh, for sure. And, actually after the bowl game, we'll be staying through New Year's Eve. So just to spend one final time together before we all go our separate ways, some guys going to work, some guys going to train. It'll be really cool just to celebrate our college careers, all the work that we've put in together, all the hard times and difficult times and all the good times. Really just to relax and spend one final moment together out here in New York City.
You guys, of course, playing on Yankee Stadium's famous turf here. You guys spent some time this year studying Derek Jeter. A little ironic there that you end up playing on your last game's going to be on the field that of course he helped make famous.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time that there's no such thing as a coincidence, and you can't ignore the signs. So being able to study Derek Jeter, one of the greatest baseball players of all time this year, it's really cool because we learned about the Yankee way. We learned about what made him such an elite player and to get to step on the field where Jeter played, Babe Ruth, all the Yankee greats, is really special. And in a venue like Yankee Stadium, you can say that you played on that, and you can tell your kids about that, and not a lot of people get that opportunity. So you got to be really thankful and just soak it all in and be appreciative of everyone that's played there before you, and for you to get to be a small part of that history of that stadium is really cool.
How about being just around this city that buzzes 24 hours a day, New York City, in your final chance here?
Yeah, they say it's magical to spend New York City, to be in New York City during the holidays. So, I've had a full list of restaurants that I'm working on hitting throughout the week. We were in Times Square last night. I know my dad's excited for the ball drop. So just to be able to spend a really cool time of the year with the people closest to you in your life is really special. And, you'll look back on these moments, and again, you'll just remember them.
Let's talk some football now. Syracuse, the opposition. What do you see from them offensively?
Yeah, they're really explosive offense. Their quarterback, he's the guy that makes their operation run. They're really explosive. They have really good receivers on the outside, and they do a really good job of creating the second play we talk about. The quarterback has great pocket presence. He has the ability to step up in the pocket and scramble and throw or run for yards. So we have to be able to defend that. And then they have a strong run game as well. I know the running back won't be playing, but they have strong backup running backs that I know will step up, and we'll have to be ready to defend them.
That quarterback, the challenge there, a guy that can run too. What kind of pressure does that place on not just you as a middle linebacker, but the rest of the group too?
Yeah, you just have to be keyed in on where his body presence is in the pocket, because if he's comfortable in there, and he's going to have the ability to take a shot down the field. So I have to be ready to defend the middle of the field. But at the same time, I can't get too deep or can't get too locked in on the pass, because he will scramble up the middle for some positive yards, or scramble to throw for an explosive play. So you just have to be keyed in, and that's really just everybody doing their job, everybody working together in the pass rush, in the secondary, so we can shut them down and defend that.
Opportunity here to get 9 wins. How important is that to go out, one, on a winning note, but to know you put together another 9-win season? Yeah,
no, it's a really special opportunity. And, looking at a bowl game, it's really a celebration. All these seniors, all the work, everything that they've built here at the University of Minnesota, compiled into this last game is really important for us. Anytime you get the opportunity to go out and play a football game, your goal is to win it. So to go out there and win 9 games for the second year in a row would be truly special. And we know that we've had to put in the work to get to that point. We're going to have to prepare to win that football game, but it's really just going to come down to us being us. Everybody going out there playing for each other and setting these seniors out on a strong note.
Yeah, and to close it, I guess if you're going to close at Yankee Stadium, you better be named Mariano, right?
Yeah, it's a great baseball name. I actually brought my baseball glove, so pregame maybe I'll toss the old baseball around a little bit just to say that I did.
Very good. Enjoy it. It's been fun watching.
Thank you.
There he is, Mariano Sori-Marin. It's episode number 51. I hope you enjoyed listening to that as much as I enjoyed hosting it. We want to thank Affinity Plus. It's your local credit union proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. As a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, either way or both, you're eligible to join a financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. Meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide, including one right near the University of Minnesota campus on University. To learn more or to find other ways to connect, go to affinityplus.org/GoGophers. That's affinityplus.org/GoGophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. Our Go Gopher podcast also presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. As mentioned, they serve the Gophers so well, they purchased 800 tickets to the Pinstripe Bowl and distributed them locally here in New York to kids to go to the game. We're also brought to you by, as we mentioned, Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a local member-owned full-service financial invested in you. And as mentioned, you can go to affinityplus.org/GoGophers. They have a top-ranked mobile app as well. We're also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to click the subscribe button right now for the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to listen at any time. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you for listening all year long. We'll talk again next week.